You won't believe what was found in this walleye's stomach. The famous Cheerio fish, and should forward-facing sonar be banned? We got that and more coming up right now in Target Walleye's Top 5 presented by Seafoam. Let's dive on in. Walleyes eat a little bit of everything. Perch, shiners, bugs, leeches, crayfish, bullhead, you name it. But this next one completely still caught me off guard. It was sent in by Target Walleye reader Jason. I'm gonna butcher your last name, Shadorsky. I'm sorry, I tried. And he was on a fishing trip up on Lake of the Woods, and it was in early August when he caught a 17-inch walleye that looked weird and smelled funny, I believe he said. When he cut it open, they found a dang snake in its belly. A snake! A nope rope, a danger noodle, whatever you want to call it, that is a hard pass from me. I've seen plenty of pictures of bass taking down snakes. I mean, they'll literally eat anything, right? But a walleye? First for me, and it was caught in August, so did the walleye go shallow and eat a topwater snake? Or did the snake go deep? I don't think they do that. Either way, maybe Savage Gear was onto something when they made that 3D wake snake bait. Gotta be honest, when I first saw that thing, I thought it looked like the biggest gimmick in the world, until I saw it in the water and saw that action, and then I completely changed my tune and I'd like to tie one on. Not for walleyes, though.
And I'm gonna teach you how to smile correctly for your photo.
I've mentioned before how I get a kick out of people who pose in fish pictures, who look like they're just mad at the world, they refuse to smile, they're not having any fun at all, straight up mean mug. And if anybody was ever gonna have an excuse to post a picture like that, it would be Dan Amundsen in this photo, which he still is pulling off a little bit of a smirk, but he's got a little something going on that would make most everybody else cringe. Can you spot what it is? Okay, we might have to take a little bit closer look yet. Enhance. Enhance.
Enhance.
Just print the damn thing!
Yep, he got that chunk of lead, that number 4 Northland puppet minnow buried in his finger past the barb while trying to unhook that walleye flopping around, and he still pulled off the hero shot because he's a boss. So if we learned anything at Dan's expense, it'd be that 1, you might want to consider using a pliers anytime you're taking a walleye off with one of those sticky jigging baits in their face. And 2, the Wonder Bread color will literally catch anything. Walleyes, Dans, you name it. And thanks for being a good sport, Dan. So I had no idea walleyes would eat a snake, but I do know that they love to eat big minnows, red tails, creek chubs, suckers. The more the water temps drop and dip down in the fall, the bigger the minnow I want to send down there right in front of their face. If you know, you know. And if you do know, then I know how badly you would love to drag around one of these puppies in the fall. That picture was shared by Randy Bean, who had a friend catch it somewhere in northern Manitoba. Apparently it's a long-nosed sucker. I believe some folks up there nickname them sturgeon suckers. And the males can apparently get a little bit reddish and get a little bit of color going on during the spawn, but it's not normally anything like that where it's painted on looking. All I know is I want about a half a dozen of them, and can you imagine what the local bait shops would charge for those puppies? I mean, it's like $20 to get 6 minnows that are this big, and the rest of them are that big. Man, those color patterns on that last sucker were just so defined that they looked like they were painted on, and that reminded me of one other fish I've ever seen, and that's a very special critter that folks call the Cheerio fish, which, if you take a look at it, it's probably called that because of that amazing hat, but also the colors on that fish match pretty well. Still has to be probably the craziest looking walleye I have ever seen. That picture has been floating around the internet for decades, or a decade now, with really no context to go with it. I've seen some posts say it was caught out of the St. Louis River. I've seen other posts say Jamestown, and most posts just do what the heck emoji. But I did just get an email from someone named Nathan Wolkow who said that his dad took that picture many, many years ago and that the guy's name who caught it was Todd Heeb or Todd Hybe. So I'm gonna have to see if I can do some follow-up, do some digging, and finally get some details on that mystical Cheerio fish for you. I'll keep you posted.
Get Cheerios!
With all this talk about folks wanting to ban forward-facing sonar, I've finally come up with the perfect solution. Why don't we all just go back to using the original transducer? Here she is. That's what we were working with about 105 years ago. By the way, that steel cylinder alone weighs 1,200 pounds. If you thought carrying your live scope bundle around from hole to hole was not easy, imagine lugging that thing around, although we'd probably all be pretty dang jacked. That wraps up this week's top 5, and a big shout out to Seafoam for keeping us running smooth and making this video series possible. If you want more walleye and ice fishing related content like this, sign up for our free Target Walleye emails at targetwalleye.com, and I'll see you back in 7.